Dave here. How are you? Today on this show we're going to continue on with this toolbox yet again. You can see I've made the tills and we're going to make some of these inserts to stop that drummy sound. And we'll also come down to here and get started on the router table. We're going to make a fence to go on the fence. Now I haven't got the saddle on my table saw at the moment. I'll put that on and then we'll make a tiny little fence to take the tiniest, smallest dovetail cutters that I've used. I need this just to make this a little bit safer than the last time we did it, because coming back up here, not look great, we're going to make some little dividers, possibly out of rock maple. We may not do that today, but I want to get prepared for doing that part. So we'll be doing dovetail joints and sliding dovetails again, hopefully next week, but maybe before. See you soon.
Dave here, how are you? Dave here, how are you? Today is the 8th of May, Mother's Day. I don't know how many other countries around the world celebrate Mother's Day today, but in Australia, yep, Mother's Day all the way. So, for Mother's Day, Vicky's out working. Good on her. I noticed Bianca got a lawnmower for Mother's Day. What a wonderful gift. Very, very considerate family and husband. Anyway, if she's like me, which she is, she'll love it, because one of my favorite jobs is mowing the lawn. Instant job satisfaction. Now today on the show we're going to do a little bit, it's going to be kind of a laid back show today, not a lot happening in it. I'm going to show you how to make these inserts that are a felt cover insert that can drop in the bottom of the drawer. I'm putting them in the bottom of the tool tills in the tool chest. You could do the same thing with the jewelry box or even with an ordinary drawer. Whatever you want. It's the method of doing it, and I learnt this from Cole at Gifkin's Jig. So in the description box down the bottom you can see his channel. Go for it, have a look at what he does. He does a heap of stuff all about really fine detailed joinery, particularly with dovetails. Okay, and we also have a viewers project, and I will, in the description box below, I have his email for you, just in case you might want him to make one of these things for you as well. He watched my video on how to use the Veritas Dowling jig, and he thought that was pretty easy to understand because it's a complicated little device. And so he said, Dave, I've just been using that because I have to make specific dowels out of different types of timbers. So imagine what dowels out of purple heart would look like. That'd be pretty special. Anyway, so Today, you love your mower, it's all the best. AV Good on this side. I'll just say a quick hello to everyone. John, Bianca, Mark, Giles, Skip, Carl, Derek, Brian, Eric, and everyone else that is in that area above where I can actually see right at the moment. And Pierre's asleep over there, thank heavens. He was up in the office howling. I don't know why. He just stands here and looks at me, goes up in the office and howls. Well, I get that a bit. All right, next thing. G'day, Brian, how are you? Now, let's have a quick look in the toolbox because it's pretty special. This is what we're going to be doing. I've just put that hand plane in there because it sat there quite nicely. All right, we'll use that hand plane in a little bit. So the tills slide backwards and forwards. They're on Purple Heart runners down here. So what I did here was I got a piece of pine and I thicknessed it to the correct width to be able to support the lower of the two tills. I'll bring this around here. Maybe it'll explain it a little bit better. Yeah, down like so. You can see the bottom till is narrower than the top till, obviously because it needs to be able to sit. Let me pull that back there a little bit. it sits down below. So you can use the same principle with the jewelry box, whatever you want. The reason there's a step there, and this is my own stupid fault, is I forgot to make allowance for the thickness of the strap hinges at the back. So if the strap hinges weren't there, when I push that back there, this would be a perfect plane. And then, thank heavens, the strap hinges go down low enough so that it still finishes beautifully flush on the front. I have, these are all dovetailed. Again, just magic. This is Cole's jig. And I did explain to people the reason I've got the dovetails this direction is that as I push backwards and forwards, the mechanical strength is all here. I'm not relying on glue at all here. This is all, for me to pull this piece of timber out of that, I can't do it. I'd have to snap all of this. This going this direction, yeah, that's a glue joint, but the rest of it, mechanical. And that's why dovetails were so popular. They were the strongest joint around for woodworking. For those interested as well, what I've done as far as the finish is concerned, I painted everything with sanding sealer before I did anything. Just washed it all with sanding sealer. Then I sanded it with 500 grit paper, just a very light sand over the top to take the fibers off, because sanding sealer, what it does, it swells timber up, brings all the fibers up like you do if you wet it, but it sets them. They can't go anywhere. They're stuck up there. Then it's like a first coat, but it doesn't have any effect on everything else, and it does seal. And then I've used Liberon finishing oil on the whole thing. Now the tills are a little bit more matte or satin because I only took those up to 240 grit. You'll see the purple heart at the front here is quite glossy. I took it to 1000. So basically I sealed it, closed the pores up by sanding it to such a fine thing. It's almost polishing it. Then I put the oil on after that. So that's why we've got a gloss here and a matte here. This is all gloss as well. And you can see on the back where I've used resin to fill over the top of the pocket hole screws, which are holding this part here, because we've got long grain, long grain. If I was just to glue all of this and put solid screws and not let them move at all, this would develop a big split right down the middle. And I didn't want that to happen. There's no chain holding this up. I've designed it so that it works nicely like that. And let's do the lid close, and you can hear it just go nicely. It's what Cole would call a piston fit. There. And this is the little thing. I'll just lower that, and it might work a little bit better to be able to see it. That's the little finger pull that we cut in it last week that I laboured on for about 1,000,000 years and mucked around with the camera too much. So I cut that part out, as a matter of fact, out of the video, just so people wouldn't die of boredom. Now hopefully you're not going to die of boredom today. I'll bring the camera around this side so I can show you exactly how this is going to work. So the first thing we are going to do is make one of these. And they're very, very easy. See, nowhere near as tinny. There's a piece of ribbon here. So I can pull this out at any time I want. And all is a piece of 3mm thick MDF with this piece of ribbon stuck to the bottom. Again, this is all Cole's ideas. I did write, so when that's there, B and B, so when I put it in, it would line up perfectly. Look at that go down. That's such a nice fit. Okay, so we're going to move over to the main bench and get the track saw out in a second. First of all, just show you an overall view of it. It's looking quite nice. I like it. All dovetailed, purple heart, couple of sliding tills, and as I said in the intro, we may also make some kind of dividers out of rock maple, but we'll see how we go. I'll shut that. Love it. All right. Next, we'll switch cameras back to this front one. All right. You like it, Bianca? Like the chopping board on the inside of the lid, that would look magic. Yeah, well, I can do that if I want to. Now, Bianca is saying that she would like this also as an heirloom. And I said, no, maybe the baby will get it. Anyway, Jared, morning. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. G'day, Jared. How are you? Thanks, John. Thank you. All right, quick drink. Now, first thing I need to do is cut a little bit of MDF. This, I'm going to do it here on the bench. It's going to be easiest. I could do it on the table saw, but there's a lot of people who don't own table saws, so I like to demonstrate different ways of doing it. I've already put a mark here as to a close enough to the width. I've got a Cis 1 sitting here, and it's going to catch any offcut from here. So it'll catch the actual piece for me. I'll be using a guide rail with the GRS 16PE on it, which is basically a square. Come back to about there, have a look down this inside, so I'm not going to cut anything. That's pretty good. Track saw, and see what I've done? I put a little bit of masking tape. Now, this might be good, it may not be good. I don't know. I haven't tried it before. If it sucks in there and what have you and causes a failure, you saw it here first. Okay. Now the track saw is going to make a little bit of noise, not a lot, just a little bit. And I'll need some eye protection and goggles. Do you find you halfway through a cut, you think, oh, I should have put those on? I do like the PH accents. Yep. Mark it with the date so your great grandkids in the future will know. Yeah, that's a good idea. What a great idea. Morning, Cole. All right, here we go. I'm just going to cut the thing to length, to width, I should say. Done. How easy is that? I've been very busy making these benches, I tell you. If you want one, link in the description box down the bottom, or just go to stantonbench.com. Australia only, sorry. All right, now I need to cut it to width. So I've also got a mark here as to where I'm going to cut it to. It's not going to be super accurate. I'm going to finish everything off with a plane. So how am I going to do this, David? Let's move this dog to there and move that out of it totally. Oh, no, sorry, move it over here. And we've got a couple of little dogs across here. Where are we? Well, they might be a little high. Didn't think that one through. Not to worry. Not to worry. Put that there and that one there, and that should work. That'll lock it. Yep. It'll work. Put one there to start, and I can push it up against it, and then move that to there. Done. Lovely. What are we going to use next? That rail's a little long. Let's use a shorter one. I've got the Triton coloured Stanton dog locks on at the moment. With these things, it's only a matter of set the far end. And normally you just leave it like that. I'll go to CalCam so you can see what I'm doing up there. Like so. At this end, these have got thumb screws on them, so I can just do that. See how it just pulled the rail over there hard up against the dog then? That's it. Done. Now, that's all good. let's cut it. As I said, I'm going to have to do a little bit of planing. I was just putting on the eye protection. The dust extraction seems to be working quite well with that bit of tape. Here we go. Done. And then this just lifts. See the principle? As you push it down, it wedges tighter because the distance gets less as you lift. Very, very simple principle. Now I'm going to continue with this. Just move these out of the way. And come back to this one. I'm going to continue with this one by working on the front here. Get that camera. Pierre, you're being a very good boy. He's decided, no, wasn't any use howling. I'll just come down here. Yeah, I realised that the debacle with the camera mount the other week, last week, was around about 11 minutes setting the camera up. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, you forgive me, don't you? That was a whole lot quicker using a tripod. Anyway, I love to experiment and have some fun. Next one. About there. That'll do. Lovely. All right. Now, I'll get the tool out of the toolbox because I'm going to keep on referencing to it. So there we got this one already, and we're making one for here. Now, I had 3 different colors to work from. I'll get the plane out. I'm actually using this for tools at the moment already. So I had one of my planes in there. Now, Nathan, hi. I do, yes, Bianca Lone Dog agrees, beautiful. Okay, Matthew, yes, you for giving. Hi, Matthew, how are you? All right, so where are we up to? Quick drink. Where's my piece? Here. Now, it's very important that you keep marking it as you go along, and otherwise you're going to get lost. So I'm checking the end for square. That end is looking pretty good. So I'm going to go with this. Now, actually maybe CalCam is going to be best for this part. When that wants to move for me. There we go. I want to cut it so it's in between here. So I can just bring it so it's almost up to that divider. And I can put a mark there. And on the other side, I can put a mark. So that's the area that I need it to go. What will I use for a ruler? An offcut. This is what color it is before I put the oil on it. Okay, I'm going to quickly hit that with the saw, and I need to have, this is center. So what I've done there is I've written on it center. So that reminds me that it's going to be up against that end because I'm custom fitting it because this wasn't dead square. And I've worked out a way of getting around that. So I'll cut this with the track saw without any of the other guides. We'll just use this like so, running straight off the, using the splinter guard as my guide. Yep, yep. Well, I need to just tidy that up a little bit. You can see I've got a little bit at the end there. So I'll spin this around this way and use this. Go back to that camera along the side here. This is using a dovetail slot. This is the Mark III version of the bench. There's no T-tracks anymore. Waste of time. How good is that? I'll lower it down a little so it doesn't wobble around. Now that I've said how good is that, of course it's going to jam there a little bit. It's catching the grip tape. That's what it is. So down to about there. Up. Right. This plane. And I need to look what's happening here. That's looking pretty good. Thumbnails, one of the best resources you're going to have in a workshop. Okay, get the box. And we'll have a look. So that was center. And that's pretty good. Now we need to go this way. Bring it back just a touch. I think I'll just plane this one instead of trying to cut it. There to there. Again, will this be a long enough ruler? Sure will. While I was waiting for the show to start, I quickly ducked upstairs to sharpen a pencil. I only had a minute to do it, and a good result. All right, let's see how we go with this. Nearly there. That's pretty good. A little bit more at the far end. Let's see how that goes. It works. Notice I tested it off camera. I'm not a total idiot. It will go in, and I'm not going to drop it because there's the next trick we're going to do. Okay, beautiful. Now the next thing is we're going to put some ribbon on it. And I had all different colors. I had some of this, and I had some burgundy. So I had this real purple and a burgundy. And I just thought the burgundy wasn't going to look as garish. And so that or that at the end. Now maybe the purple would have been fine, I don't know. But I've gone burgundy with burgundy. There's other colors here that I had. I had green and kind of a browny black color. So I normally like the green because it just has that, you know, a little bit of a sexy look to it. You see pool tables are green and bankers' lamps are green. It just seems to have that, I don't know, classy, expensive look. And that's the kind of thing I'm looking for with this. But then you have this as kind of a royal color as well. And I thought this is pretty regal. Green's not regal to me. Green is possibly, what am I talking about now? Green now, I'm just thinking seedy pool rooms where this is royal. So what are your thoughts? You let me know what colours mean to you for different things. Get out of that. Okay. Nothing as safe as actually as a sharp plain iron. Green is classic. There's 5 different colours, do you, Cole? Okay, so I'm going to go with the burgundy ribbon. And this stuff, like if you're in Australia, I got it from Spotlight. It's the cheapest place to get it, as far as I'm concerned. Now, we're going to cut a little piece, and I'll use the sharp scissors, the scissors that we sharpened on the show, and I'm going to cut it at an angle. So let's cut it at a little bit of an angle rather than just a flat cut at that end. Because again, it looks a little bit sexy. Do you ever say that on your show, Cole? I did that because it looks sexy. I dare you to do it. I dare you. Will Pam let you? Okay. Now, because I have an indicator for me just here that says center, now I know that this, and this is on the top, I can now put this ribbon on the back down here. So if I put it there like that, while I can see everything, it's just a matter of now turn this over, and I'm going to put a little mark here. Just a tiny little cross, so in case I put it down and walk away from it and forget where I'm at, I'll remember. And it'll all be good, and hopefully I won't have any accidents. All right, we'll go to Cargill. I think I just blew MDF into my coffee. Great. Red would be your choice. Okay, Derek, what's Derek said? Stanton blue, of course. Oh, I haven't got any blue. Bugger. Shiny side up. Okay. All right. So the shiny side up, which means the shiny side down when I'm doing the gluing. So that means that when it's in the box, the shiny side will be on the inside. Is that right, Cole? Mate, he's giving me all the tips. So I have some accelerator and I have some super glue. So what I need to do now is put some super glue on the actual ribbon. Now this takes forever. You need to hold it upside down and keep on looking up into the sky until the super glue, because it's very viscous, until I see a little bit of the glue start to show. Still coming. Got it. Okay. So if I put the glue on the shiny side, we should be good. Don't need a heap of it. Okay. Now, on the board, I'm going to spray some accelerator. Put it on there. Let's go to Carl Cab. And watch it. And pretty much in the center. Ha! Don't ask you how you know that, hey Tony? So that's stuck. It's not going anywhere. Shiny side up. It's like when you're laying turf, isn't it? Green side up. All right, back to the front. As I said before, this might just seem like a very, very basic thing to do, but it works. Now, I possibly should have put the felt on first before I put the ribbon on, but I can just fold the ribbon down out of the way for while I'm working on it. Now, the felt. Here we go. Something else I've discovered. Don't use, I'm going to move this camera around the back here. Don't use scissors for felt if you can avoid it. Why? because it grabs it, wants to chew. Scissors for ribbon is fine, but use a knife, a craft knife of some sort, to do this next part. And a cutting board. It's so much easier. We'll go around to the other camera. There we go. So I have this cutting board, a knife we sharpened on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I've got some of this, and we'll move those out of the way. Move the tape, move the ribbon, and move those router cutters. Okay. So, this stuff here I'll probably never use, but you know, I always leave it off to the side. For the show, I'm going to cut it, get rid of it. It's not going to be in my way now. All right, so I've got a reasonable edge there. Just reasonable. All right, let's see how much we've got here. Put a little glue on the leading edge to stop fraying. Okay, we'll do that at the end, Cole. So again, this is the top, ribbons on the bottom. I'm going to cut a piece out so I don't have this thing rolling all over the place. So I've got enough there for one more. So, out of the way. That's a whole lot easier to manage. And now this one as well. Gone. All right. Peel the back off. Without losing the glue section. See that? Peel it right off and get rid of that paper. The paper is the part that's got all the form holding it. Center. This is the top, this is the side we want. Okay. Very carefully. It's always good to have left a little bit more than what you actually need. Lovely. There we go. Now I'm just going to use this as a straight edge. Down the side, gone. Remember I said don't get rid of the ribbon. We'll just pull that to the side, holding it down tight. Around this side. Actually, the more you leave on, the better it is, because you won't get the fluff happening. Done. There's my panel that's going to go in. Cole did say put a little bit of stuff there. We'll do that over here. I am smiling doing it. All right. I've got a little bit of offcut here somewhere, I think. Let's bring this over and get this to drop just a little bit more. Whoa, there we go. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of glue on the end. I'm using the nozzle itself to stop the fraying, and I'm going to give that a quick spray with some accelerator. Now there is one little fray point there. Let's see if I can cut it off. Done. Actually, I cut right across the glue part. So now that's going to hold really well. And that doesn't look too bad. Let's see if it fits. Moment of truth. Oh, I've lost the drawer. What a shame. It's here somewhere. Where is the drawer? Is it back in? No, this is the drawer. David. I took the B out, didn't I? All right, go to the top camera. And it's just past past, and we'll get this other part done for the router table as well. There we go. So the one that has B written on it is there. So we'll drop it in. This way we're not chasing all the way around the inside, trying to... Have you ever tried to just lay a piece of felt in there and try and cut it and stick it to this? It drives you mental. All right, let's see how we go. Nice, I like it. So there's my piece of ribbon, which means I can get that and I can hopefully get it and lift. And out it comes, if I need to. You like that fit, Cole? Beautiful. That looks really, really nice. Have a look. Where am I showing you? There, around the edges, around those, there, on that side, all the way around. That's special. I like that. Bloody nice fit, Cole. Very, very nice fit. Okay, let's go to this one. And now what we're going to do is have a look at the viewer's project. I'll just move these out so I don't catch myself. Viewer's project from Ryan Nichols. Now Ryan makes beautiful little lanterns, wooden lanterns that you plug in, but man, they're special. He sent me an email thanking me for doing the video on how to use the Veritas dialing jig, and I noticed in his signature he has these beautiful lanterns, and I said, look, can I show you? Oh, sorry, can I show your project on the show? And he said, I'd be honored. So Ryan, here we go. Ryan Nicholson. What do you think of that? This is one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Ryan, they're absolutely beautiful. I'm stunned. They're just magic. They look great. What do you guys reckon? Do you reckon they look any good? I think they're bloody magic. He's a talent. Before we get into the next part, this is Purple Heart before I've put any finish on it. Now, there's been a lot of people asking how to keep the Purple Heart purple. So I've got Purple Heart in the middle of this plane. Now, it's hard to see that it's still purple, but it is. And that was with a spray finish. I've always had a really good result when I use an oil, and it was this particular oil. No, I'm not endorsing them. I'm just saying that's the one that I used. And on here, I hope that that color will hold for a long time. They say to use acetone first. I didn't. I've just, as I said, I've sanded it down to a pretty fine finish and basically closed the pores up on the Purple Heart, and then hit it with sanding sealer. This stuff here. This is from U-Butte Finishes. Sanding sealer. So that's what I used. I pour it into a cup. So I'm going through it in detail because it saves you a lot of muck around. Just pour it in. That box I used half a bottle to give you an idea of how much you're going to use. You use a fair bit because especially on plywood it soaks straight in and super quick. So that's what I've used on that. And then I left it go, and then I got my sanding pad with 500 grit paper on it. So this is this hand sanding block the Festool have. Did not hook it up to the dust extraction, just used this to take all the tops off all the fibers. Now that left me a really smooth finish. So it's interesting as well. So if I was doing, I've sanded the inside to 220 before I put the sanding sealer on it. Then I hit it with this, the 500, after the sanding sealer, and it feels really smooth, but it was absorbing the oil, so it feels as smooth as the stuff that I took to 1,000, but it absorbed the oil and gave it a matte finish, where the stuff that I'd sanded to 1,000 had a gloss finish because of the degree of sanding. Okay, next thing is we'll go over to the other side there and we'll have a look at what I'm going to do. I'll explain it from here. Pierre, it's all right, buddy. I'll explain what I'm going to do here. I'll move a couple of these things out of the way. So bear with me. Yes, the burgundy I'm quite happy with. It looks classy. And that's what it's all about. All right. Bring it over. The next part of the project. This is my router table fence. It's a saddle that goes over my rip fence on the table saw. I can open up and close the opening down here for different size cutters. And ordinarily that's fine if I'm pushing a long piece of timber past it. But if, like the last week, I had a skinny piece straight up and down, so let's say this is the skinny piece that I have, and I'm trying to push that over there, there's a lot of opportunity, or even smaller, there's a lot of opportunity for that to catch on one side of the fence. And it's got to go, Mother's Day. Okay, see you later, Cole. So I started to feel as though I wasn't 100% in control of what was happening. So I've decided to make a jig that'll go over the top, and it will basically be a piece of melamine that can fix to the front, so it gives me a whole lot more control, and there'll just be a series of 4 holes here. And why are there only going to be 4 holes? Well, I want 4 holes there because I have 4 different size router cutters that are in dovetail fashion. 3 of them are Coles. 1 of them is just a straight out 1/2 inch to 3/8, 14 degree. So what are we going to do? I'm going to use this bit of melamine and I'm going to drill 4 holes, different size. I'm going to start off on the left-hand side with the smallest hole and the largest one on the right, because I will be going past the small ones. If I'm doing a large cut, I'll be going past the small ones, won't affect that at all. But if I have the large one at the beginning and I'm only using a tiny cutter, well, the timber might want to drop in there a little bit as well. It's anal, but you know, that's just me. All right, let's go over to the other camera. And we'll get started over there. All right, what do you reckon, Pierre? So I've got the fence set up. I'm going to, let's just push this back a little so you can see what I'm talking about. Up a little. There, that's fine. I'm going to drill holes and I'm going to then cut down the center, or maybe just below the center, because a dovetail cutter is taller at the top than it is at the bottom. So that could work. So I need to I've got a sacrificial piece under here. I'm going to focus. I've set the fence parallel to the front. So as I'm going along, all of the holes are going to be in the right spot. So I need the center to be the same point. So I'll get a pencil and we'll write down what's going to happen. And maybe even a tape measure to make it look as though I kind of know what I'm talking about. All right, overall we have 480. So half of 480 is 240. So this is center. Now I don't want to have one right in the center. I need to go either side of it. So let's go a 50 and 100 and then come out another 50. Or maybe a little bit more than that. If I go 100, no, it's too far. Let's go 100. And that's close. That's pretty rough, and I'm going to end up with a big space in the center, and that'll be fine. And then smaller space. Yeah, that'll be fine. So this is the last one. So I'm going to do that first. This is a 35mm cutter for hinges, for cup hinges. So we'll go with that first. But before I do that, we'll have a look in here. I'll spin this around. I'm going to change the speed on the drill press. Now, you probably all know how to do this, but just in case you don't, we have a series of pulleys. Now, I don't own a special machine that's got a digital motor. I have this, so I have to adjust the speeds up here. There is a micro switch here. So when I open it, there's micro switches over the back here. Hear it? When I open the lid, I've disabled the machine. It can't turn on, so I won't get my fingers mangled in here. On the side here is a clamp. Can you see that? Tip it down just a touch. To there, there's a clamp there, and one on the back, the other exactly in the same position. And then this is your tensioner for the belts. See, that just pulls the motor backwards and forwards. All right, so up here it says the different speeds. The 210 RPM, which is, plenty of grunt, but very slow. Let's have a look. Go something in the middle, maybe 1580 RPM, 1580, which means I take this one off and this one. Okay, Nessie, what are you up to? This is an idler wheel in between, so it takes up the tension between the pair of them. 1580. We've got second pulley up from the bottom. So we'll go second pulley up from the bottom over here, and second pulley up from the bottom there. Pull that back that way, and then on the top, we second pulley down from the top. So second pulley down, and there it is. So that's our configuration. Then to tension the belts, we do this. I always pull the motor back a little bit at the same time, and then I tighten up that as well, and that's it. So it's going to give me the speed that I want. Shut the lid. Now it's ready to work. Back around here. Spin it around, and I'm going to lock those wheels so it doesn't go wandering on me. Got it. That's good. All right, let's see how it goes, whether it's effective or not. Like that. Okay, I think I'm through. Yep. It's the first hole. Pretty decent. I'm not going to show you the back because it tore out. All right, next one. So that hole there is for the biggest of the cutters. So it's the B10. That's the one I did all of these joints on the chest with. And I'll explain that in a minute. The next one is going to be for my 1/2 inch to 14 degree. So I need another hole, but not as big as that. We'll drop down to something quite small in comparison. I'm thinking this little 20mm might be fine. But I think I might go a little bit bigger than that. Just a bit bigger. And if I get it wrong, it doesn't matter. I can just rock up That's a little bit bigger. I can rock up and just grab another scrap of melamine. Oh, here's a little trick. There's my chuck key up here. Now the dogs are starting to run around the workshop, so if I pull out a camera, I'm going to be in trouble. Hey, get out. Go on. Look at the innocent looks on their faces. What are you guys up to? Go on. Don't you give me that look. They just don't care. Here they go. Go on, out you go. Anyway, back to the show. So up the... Pierre wants to have another run. Up the top here, I've got a rare earth magnet that I've put super glue on. So on the bottom, so super glue plus the magnetic force is stronger than the magnetic force of holding the chuck key for me up there. But this is brilliant. I love having that up there. Works so well. So chuck key off, and cut it out. Put this one in, and it's much the same size, so it's fine. As overall length, I mean. That one up there. All right. I'm going to fudge the distances a little bit. I'm going to go there, there, and there. So I'm basically going a third of the distance between those two. It's going to be very close. Beautiful. Okay. The next one is this one. So it's a real small fellow. So I'm going to go smaller than this. I think I'll use that one that I was going to use, the 20mm. And again, I'm going to do a bit of eyeballing. It's not what we should be doing, but it's what I'm going to do though. Okay, I think about there is good. And then the last one, which is tiny. It's, look, there's my fingernail right beside it. So it's really, really small. So I really only want something. Let's see if I've got a smaller Forstner bit here. What do we use? Shall I use a Forstner bit or should I use something else? Maybe an ordinary drill. I'm wondering where all my small Forstner bits have gone. Do you ever get that where you're looking around and think, where the hell has all my cutters gone? And you think of all the people doing this. I found it. Here we go. I think this one will do. I'm going to take it out of the packet to have a look. I think that'll be fine. Yep, I think that'll be fine. Let's see. If not, I can always do it again or make a bigger one. Put a larger hole down. Okay, it's right there. Didn't go all the way through. what I can also do, when I cut this, if they're not completely right, I can send the cutters down just to open the hole up. There he is upstairs howling. All right, we're going to take this over here and cut it. Right, quick look through here. John, late because I fell asleep. I brought Vegemite with me for the teacher. Good on you, John. Okay, I'm going to cut this down the middle, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. It's not going to take long. Actually, I'll rip this on the table saw. It's going to be quicker. Bring this around. Let's see how we go. All right. All good. And these guys. That's the correct height. And the width, I'm going to just park that over the top, lift that, bring it along till I'm a little past half. And then at the other end, I can see where I'm at. I think about there. The bottom on that is a bit ugly on the bottom of the holes, these ones. But we're not going to see those, so it doesn't matter. That's all good. All right, turn her on, and you can see what I'm on about. There we go. All the different cutters. Hopefully that's going to work. Howling dog, it does sound like a drink. All right, now what I've got to do now is I need to create, where's my, there it is, just here. Don't panic. On here, I have a T-track across the top. Now it's set back by about 3 millimeters, 2 millimeters maybe from the fences that are here. So I've got to put a washer behind each of these bolts. What I'm going to do is this will go there, and you can see how much safer that's going to be having, there's the hole there, in comparison to all of that open. So it'll just be that little part of the cutter. So I'm going to put a mark here and a mark here in line with the center of the T-track. And I'm going to put 4 holes in. I'll set the depth, and that will be that. And it's pretty easy. The reason I've got to set the depth is because I have these little dome head nuts and dome head bolts or machine screws and nuts. The nuts will fit in to this Craig track, and I have to set it down. So I think it's well, I'm going to put a mark on it so I don't have to say I think. It will be, it is. Right, the search is on for a pencil again. I think I'd put it, here I go saying I think again. I brought a couple of pencils down on purpose. There you go. Okay, buddy, was that good? He's just come back in. Okay, now I need to turn around sideways because I have my grip tape on the bench as well, and that will affect the height. So, center, and turn around the other way rather than trying to stretch myself all over the place. center. I can move this out of the way again. It's an easy idea, David. It's so easy, and you just slide it on, tighten up these 4 little nuts, because the bolts, because the nuts are going to be locked in the T-track. Put it over whichever cutter, tiny baby cutter you've got, and then just push the piece over. Like if it's a skinny little thing, as skinny as this pencil, I'll still be able to do it and feel very, very safe. Okay, square, square. We're nearly there. That end. I guess I could have just measured it and gone, yeah, that's it across the back. But I want to look as though I kind of know what I'm doing. Okay, this is the front. And also here. And we're going to use the drill press on this as well on purpose. The reason being, I'm going to use that fence to ensure that all of these holes are on the same line back. So when it's pushed down on the table, they'll all be registering dead flat. Trust me. Okay. I hope it works. All right. A line down there, if I can. Too short. What will I use for a straight edge? The back of this will do it. Take the dog lock off. So quick, so quick. This is basically an insurance policy to put that line down the middle. Okay, so I'm going to put a hole here, a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here. That's it. And it's got to be the diameter of the head. So we'll go back over here to the other camera. Wherever I put it, it's over there. And we'll knock these holes. Howling dog, yeah, that's... People come up with all sorts of weird names for alcohol. Indeed they do. Better change the camera, of course. Back again. Here I'm thinking that it may not stay in the T-track. Oh yes it will, just look at that. Okay, so I'm going to test by bringing that down. That's looking pretty good. And this one as well. It doesn't matter where, well, that one's come up a bit. Let's move that back a touch to there. And down this end. Let's move that way. Something not quite right with this, David. I need it to be parallel to the front. That's what it's got to be. So let's take it to there and lock that. Now the distance at the front here is what I'm going to measure. (26mm). Damn, I hope this works. So if we bring that back to there, so I'm way out and way out. So I'm going to say 26mm. Actually, I'm going to put a mark on the table, on the drill press table, because it's mine. I can do that. I can do whatever I want to this. 26, and also down here. 26. Release this one and that one. I think this is going to work. Move that out of the way for the moment. It's just going to confuse things. put that on there. Done. I think that's going to work. Yep. Cool. All right, next thing we need is a drill with the right diameter. Whip that off, and I've lost my chuck key because I've taken it off there, haven't I? It's down here on the table. Whip that one out, and I'm going to use a brad point. We'll see what size it's got to be. $10, we'll let it in. Beautiful. It's going to be slightly tight, but I think we'll be okay. And the depth, let's have a look at that. To work that out, I'll put this here and come down on that side to about there and hold that. And on this side, I've got a little thing I can hit. You may want to see this because a lot of people don't realize this with these drill presses. There we go. Just here, this little thing, what I can do is I can bring the drill down, because I'm not a fan of this thing on that side, bring the drill down to a certain point, and then rotate this around to the, so from the front it's counterclockwise, and that's a depth stop. Depth stop. Did you know that? Right. Because we need to put the screws in to such a distance that they don't, the heads are going to go under the surface, but the end of the bolt doesn't go through and smash the back of the T-track. Went in a little bit too quickly on one of those. I need to go a bit deeper than that. Actually, I need it to be a little bit larger than that too. So I'm going to switch that bit out. It's just a little bit too... I'm going to go back to that Forstner bit that was in there. This one. I think that was the better way to go. That way is doing that. There we go. My bad, but we'll be okay. Relax that. Bring it down until I'm down a little bit further than that was. I think about there. That's good. Let's see how we go. I'll just take it down over the top of those holes. Make sure that crap's away from the back. We've gone offline for some reason. Need to bring this back in just a touch. That's a whole lot better. I don't know if I need to go any deeper or not. We'll find out. I'd rather sneak it in a little bit at a time rather than just going, yes, smasho. I need to go down just a touch more. Relax that and turn. There we go. Okay, now a hole for this, and we shall use a 6, is it? I'll go with 7. 6 is just a little bit too light on. I want a little bit of an adjustment capacity there. And this one, I'm going to relax that and we're going to go straight through. On the same line. So this is automatically centering. There you go. A little bit of mucking around, but it's worth it. That bolt there. Let's put it together and then we'll close the show. 81 watching, amazing. Ha. All right, come back to this one. Now I did mention that the fence is sitting back around, the T-track is sitting back about 2 millimeters. So I have some washers and I'm praying that I've got them here. Yes, I do. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one bolt. Good on you. Doesn't matter. Not for the moment anyway. Oh, there it is. Found it. Okay. So these are the bolts. And we'll drop it in. So you can see it's dropped in perfectly there. It's below the surface and it's hanging out enough at the back to be able to grab hold of the T-track, but not too much. Very important. If I've drilled too deep, I can always put a very small washer in behind the head, and that will get me out of strife. So I need to put a washer on this side, and then a nut. I'm going to do one at the other end, and I'll put it in. I'm not going to put all 4 in at the moment. I just want to do this to show you how it works. It's a great little system. And it's quick enough to make, and it'll stop you getting damaged. Okay, see you later, Big. Okay, slide it into the track. I'll tip it up on its back to do this. One, And two. What's it catching on? Surely there's not something in the middle there. There it is. Beautiful. It's just dropping on. There's some screw points in along the back there, I think. There we go. So where's that opening? Let's bring it to there and tighten them up. What do you think? Now I have a very, very safe point right here. Here's the opening, and there's the opening in the between the two fences. But now it's been restricted down to this opening, this one, there. So now I've got this beautiful smooth surface to push the piece of wood past, and it's covering all of that area for the cutter, and it's intensifying the dust extraction that's going to be pulling from here as well. There's some other things that I'm going to show you about possibly next week. Fine-tuning the top of the table to give you so much accuracy, much better accuracy than what I had when I did these drawers to position this. When I did these sliding dovetails here, remember I said I think I'm out about 1 millimeter, and I said that's fine. Well, after it I thought that's not fine. I want to be we can do it quicker and better, and I'll show you how to do that. All right, there we go. Thanks to all of my patrons. Thanks to everyone for watching. We will have the Patreon chat in about another 2 or 3 minutes after the show. So if you are a patron, go to my Patreon page, slide down through the different topics, probably 5 or 6 down, you'll find the link for the Zoom meeting and the password, all that kind of stuff. Jump in and we'll have a bit of a chat. And I think I worked out the problem with the video camera that I had last week. Hopefully we'll be all there. Look after yourselves, be nice to each other, and when I get over to here, I shall see you next week. Bye. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.